Hey, welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at whether or not you need to pair your Rode Podmic with a Cloudlifter. I have the Cloudlifter, but it's worth pointing out that there's a variety of different mic activators or inline preamps, as they're variously known. And I would think the results are going to be pretty much the same regardless of which one you go with. The Cloudlifter, the CL1 version that I have here, retails for $150, but there's a variety of these things out there that you can get for probably as little as $50 all the way up to $150. And then there's other audio devices that do the same thing that actually give you more functionality. And I'll just leave all that stuff in the description so you can take a look at the various ones out there. Okay, that was a lot of stuff. In this video, I'm going to be testing with two audio interfaces. I've got the Rode, I keep forgetting what it's called. I've got the Rodecaster Pro and the Audient evo 4. So I'm going to be doing everything live and just kind of showing you how I set them up. Let me just go ahead and let you know, if you didn't already, that I'm not an audio engineer. I'm not a professional audio person. I'm trying to do everything like sort of systematically, just so you know that it's all fair and across the board and above board, and you can just see how I'm doing it. With the Rodecaster, if you are using this thing, you have a lot of different options, and there's a lot of variables built into this that you can do like right in the device itself. With something like the Audient evo 4, you're kind of like limited to the raw signal going right into the audio interface, but then you have a lot of the same options on the back end with post-processing software that you can do to basically give you the same results that you can with the Rodecaster, like right in the device. So there's kind of a difference there. With all that out of the way, let me just go ahead and start. And as you can tell, hopefully with this overhead shot, we're running the Podmic directly into the Rodecaster without the Cloudlifter here to start off with. So we're in the microphone settings here. The microphone is set to the Rode Podmic, and then I go into, well, just to show you, audio processing is not enabled currently. And then we'll go into the level setting, and this is where you should initially set your gain for the microphone. So, talking to the microphone, and you should be, kind of bouncing comfortably within this little green zone. And I mean, I might be a little bit light, but I think I'm pretty well situated. But actually, as I talk and look at my levels in Adobe Audition, I do think I'm a little bit low. So let me go ahead and add a couple dB of gain. And I really want to be averaging averaging around negative 12 dB, I think is a pretty good safe zone. So that gives you good headroom on the top. So if you do get, really loud all of a sudden, you're probably not going to clip your audio. And then there's enough levels there that you can even everything out in post if you want to get everything nice and loud. So as you can tell, I had to be about level 45 for my voice anyway. And that's another thing. It's going to depend on your voice. If you're a lot louder than me, I have a pretty quiet voice. At least I think so anyway. You might be able to set this gain level a little bit lower. And another factor, of course, is your distance from the microphone. I'm about, I would say, 3 inches, 3.5, 4 inches away from the front of the microphone. If you do want to get really close to it, that's another thing you can do and lower the level. So there you go. I'm going to be quiet for about 10 seconds and you can just listen to the noise floor. And like that was disgusting, sorry. And like I mentioned before, with this, you have some options that you can mess with right into it. And it's going to pass through if you do, and so let's go ahead and do this. Let's enable audio processing. And this is going to pass through, if you're not recording directly into the Rodecaster, it's going to pass these audio processing settings into your software. So you can probably tell that that did boost the audio quite a bit just by enabling audio processing, and you can see everything that we have enabled there. So I'm going to go ahead and just back off a little bit on the levels and hopefully be a little bit more comfortable. So there's another thing. If you're working with the Rodecaster, just another thing to keep in mind is you are going to be able to add a little bit of gain just by enabling audio processing. I think that's probably the compressor doing that, but I'm not going to go through all of the settings. If you do have the Rodecaster, you're obviously going to want to set everything up to suit you and your voice. But let me go ahead and be quiet, and you can see if there was a difference. There shouldn't have been a difference because we didn't mess with the gain settings at all. All right, so now that gives you an idea of no Cloudlifter. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over and plug in the Cloudlifter. Testing 1, 2. Okay. So now I am back, and you can tell our levels are 10 dB lower, and we're still hitting comfortably within that green zone. You can see we've got phantom power enabled, which you do need with the Cloudlifter. We automatically can lower the gain by 10 dB. And let's just go ahead and make sure. Oh, hold on. I meant to have that off. So audio processing was enabled. Now it's disabled. Go back into our levels, and we're still, sitting right there. It shouldn't really, whether you have audio processing enabled, shouldn't change the amount of input gain. So yeah, there we go. 35, I think, is pretty decent. And if I look over at Audition, I'd say we're still averaging, pretty good, around negative 12 dB. Okay, so microphone, I do have the Rode Podmic setting enabled. I don't know if that really matters that much. Let's go ahead and just change it to regular dynamic. So I don't really know if that really matters when you have phantom powered enabled, if that just sort of bypasses the regular Podmic settings. I don't know. You can listen for yourself to see if that really made a difference. And so I'm going to be quiet and see if there's a big difference between the gain set to 35 and 45. Now we're going to go ahead and just enable the audio processing, and you can see the difference that makes. So all of the audio processing settings are the same, and you can probably hear that really boosts up the level quite a bit. So let me back off the fader just a touch, and hopefully we're still hitting around negative 12 dB on our audio recording, which I think we are. As I turn my mouth, I think it's going to lower the volume. I wish I had the screen right in front of me, but then you couldn't see me, which might be an improvement. I don't know. So there you go. I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to show you with the Rodecaster. And the difference really is about 10 dB, at least for my voice. Oh, another thing too, when you do have audio processing enabled, you've got these two settings. So depending on how you set them, I think strength really has the biggest difference. So actually, let's set my voice to soft, and then it's really I think it's gonna boost the levels up quite a bit to make me sound like I've got a loud voice. So this is another set of parameters that you have within the Rodecaster to actually affect the output level of your volume. The bottom line, though, like I said before, is there's about a 10 dB difference in the amount of gain needed with and without the Cloudlifter with the Podmic on the Rodecaster. And that's why I'm going to be testing with the Audient Evo 4 to see if that's kind of like an across-the-board difference. All right, so now I've switched over to the Audient Evo 4, and we're running from the mic directly into the Audient Evo 4 without the Cloudlifter. The other thing, too, is different from the Rodecaster. It doesn't really show you the amount of gain set, or it doesn't really have a number. You can just see it has these little lights set up, that light up as you speak into it. You can just see where you're hitting, but I don't really know. There's no number that I can assign to it. But as I look at Adobe Audition, as I'm talking into it, I'm about 5 dB quieter. And I actually do have the gain set all the way to the max on the Audient Evo 4. And with it set to the max with the Podmic, I'm not able to really get to negative 12 dB on average. So this is this device. This is a $130 USB audio interface, and it can provide about 50 to 58 dB of gain. And I don't remember the number of the Rodecaster Pro, but as I just punch in all the way to the top of the gain setting on the Rodecaster, you get the ability to add 55. The number says 55, but I don't really know what that equates to in terms of like actual gain. So every device is different, but I would say that the 50 dB of gain is not necessarily equivalent to 55 number here. So if you're running with something like the Scarlett 2i2 or some of those other maybe like $100 ballpark-ish kind of USB audio interfaces, I would say you're probably looking at something similar to the Evo 4. I can't really test everything. This is the only thing that I have. With the Audient Evo 4, you're definitely not getting enough gain from the device itself in order to get where you want to be in terms of recording. So I'm going to be quiet and you can listen to the noise floor with the gain pretty much cranked on this thing. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and add in the Cloudlifter. Now I've got the Cloudlifter running into the Evo 4 and then out to the Podmic, and you can definitely tell the difference there. And once again, you can't really see the number on the thing, but my gain is set over here somewhere. Testing 1 2, mic check 1 2, testing. So we're about over here on the gain, so we were able to back off 1 2, and I think these have half notches as well. I wish this thing had like actual numbers on it or something, but we were able to back off quite a bit on the Evo 4 with the Cloudlifter. And obviously see on Adobe Audition, we're getting much healthier levels on there, and we're definitely getting around our negative 12 dB goal, I guess. So that's pretty much it. The story with the Evo 4 is that a Cloudlifter is, in my opinion, absolutely necessary with the Podmic. Without it, you're really not getting the amount of levels that you need. You could obviously raise the levels in post, if you're recording a video, with the Evo 4 without the Cloudlifter, but you could also hear the noise floor. So let me actually be quiet. Let me do the 10 seconds, and you can just listen to the noise floor with the Cloudlifter with the Evo 4. Just kind of interesting, the disparity between the Rodecaster and the Evo 4. Now, there is a huge price difference between these two things. This is $600 versus $130. I think this is more representative of like that $130 and under device that you might be getting. So yeah, this isn't necessarily a plug for the Rodecaster versus something like this. I actually really enjoy using the Evo 4, and this is kind of overkill for a lot of different applications. But if you are using a Podmic, I would say that you do need a Cloudlifter or similar device. Let me just go ahead and summarize real quick with the Rodecaster. I don't think that the Cloudlifter is absolutely necessary with the Podmic. You can definitely get away without it. And to my ear, at least with my Rodecaster, I can't really tell a huge difference between the noise floor that extra 10 dB of gain introduces. I hope that was helpful. I'm obviously going to start eating now. My wife brought this to me. How nice of her. I'm sure she's probably upset that I'm up here recording YouTube videos while she's working on a real job, and she had to make me breakfast. If you've got any questions, obviously leave them in the comments section. Any other comments, like to hear from you guys, like having conversations, and feel free to like or dislike this video depending on your mood and depending on the quality of the video, really, probably not great. So yeah, feel free to subscribe if you're feeling generous in 2021. I hope you guys are having a great start to your new year. Hope it goes a lot better than the last year. And yeah, see you in the next video. I've got the Rode Procaster. Damn it, Podcaster. No, it's the Procaster. Wait, what is this thing called? The Procaster. The Podcaster. What is this thing? Procaster. Rodecaster. Oh my god. It's the Rodecaster Pro. Fucking Rode with all their stupid ass names.